Welcome to The Explainer. So, if you've ever looked at a marketing campaign targeted at women and wondered, wow, why did that resonate so perfectly? Or maybe, oh boy, why did that completely miss the mark? Well, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're unpacking the core principles of marketing to women. We're going to break down the exact concepts you need to navigate this highly nuanced communication landscape. All right, let's dive right in.
Okay, let's dive into this syllabus by breaking it down into three core pillars: messaging appeal, consumer mindset, and delivery mediums.
Starting off with Section 1, Appeal Differences, the core messaging. We're shifting our focus right into the nuances of those overarching marketing messages.
Think about it, when you're constructing a message, what is the actual underlying engine making it attractive? I mean, think about a generic ad for a fitness product that just blasts technical features. It almost always falls flat, right? Bridging that massive gap between broad marketing and highly targeted messaging requires a really deep, calculated understanding of the specific type of appeal driving your core message. You literally can't just throw a message out the wall and hope it sticks. You absolutely need a strategic foundation.
And this brilliantly illustrates how crucial nuanced messaging is, bringing us to a foundational distinction: the difference between sex appeal and gender appeal. Now, these are definitely not the same thing, and honestly, confusing them is a massive error in marketing strategy. Sex appeal typically relies on physical attraction, seduction, or fulfilling a fantasy, often leaning really heavily into the male gaze. Gender appeal, however, well, that goes much deeper into identity. It focuses on the themes, the shared struggles, the triumphs, and the daily realities that are totally specific to the female experience. So you have to ask yourself, are you relying on physical allure when the situation actually demands a message about empowerment or shared community? Learning the explicit difference between these two really forces the marketer to step back and evaluate the actual thematic core of their campaign.
Let's move to our next pillar, Section 2, the consumer personality, the mindset. Let's see how this builds from the messaging down to the actual target audience.
Now, what's really interesting here is how we ensure we are deeply exposed to the consumer personality, because defining the appeal, that's really only half the battle. Next is total immersion into who they are. This isn't just a surface-level glance at demographic data like age, income bracket, or location. No, it's an exposure to the mindset itself. To truly connect, you have to map out their unique behavioral and psychological traits. What are their daily routines? What are their core values? What specific pain points literally keep them up at night? You absolutely have to deeply immerse yourself in this psychological framework to make the messaging from our first pillar actually land.
Because let's face it, the best message in the world totally fails if it hits the wrong mindset. You can have a totally perfect grasp of the difference between sex appeal and gender appeal, but if you don't intimately understand the specific personality traits of the women you're trying to reach, well, your perfectly crafted message is basically being broadcast to an empty room. Pairing the what, the appeal, with the who, the consumer personality, is a mandatory prerequisite. Before delivering any gender-appealing marketing, the messaging absolutely must be an exact reflection of the consumer's mindset.
This guides us into the final stage of our conceptual funnel. Section 3, Strategic Marketing Channels, the medium. Figuring out exactly where this messaging actually belongs. So we have the tailored message, right? And we deeply understand the mindset. Now we actually deploy it. But you don't just use standard broad spectrum distribution. The crucial point here is selecting marketing channels especially tailored for women consumers. This means moving way past generic billboards or really broad television buys and targeting highly specific environments. Think about dedicated online communities, targeted audio content focusing on female entrepreneurship, or maybe contextual social media placements, where these exact conversations are already happening organically. It's like a giant puzzle. You take the distinct appeal, match it to the personality, and deliver it through proven, highly specific spaces.
Which leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought to reflect on. Are you utilizing sex appeal when you should actually be focusing on gender appeal and consumer personality? Seriously, take a look at the media you consume every day, or the communication strategies you build yourself. How often do we see this totally misaligned? By mastering these differences in appeal, deeply understanding the consumer mindset, and selecting those specialized channels, your communication becomes exponentially more effective. Keep analyzing the messages around you, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.